Sex. Wildly original sex might be enjoyable for you, or it might not, but it is not what makes for a satisfying long-term sex life for most people. People think the key to satisfying long-term sex is monogamy, or non-monogamy, watching porn, or not watching porn, being kinky or vanilla. It's not. Those are all just different ways people engage sexually and emotionally with the world. And whether they work for you or not is a matter of personal experience. People can have great or terrible sex lives either way. People think it's attractiveness, being conventionally good-looking, or it's having a perfect relationship, or a perfect body, or it's skills like knowing a lot about how to give great oral sex. None of those things predict great sex in the long term. The idea of a skilled lover is a myth. Unless you're trying technically demanding BDSM practice like breath play, the only skill you need is the ability to pay attention to your partner and to your own internal experience at the same time. Perhaps above all, people think it's an out-of-the-blue craving for sex, the hot and heavy, horny feeling that makes people constantly want to put their tongues in each other's mouths. This is often what people mean when they talk about the spark that we're all supposed to want to keep alive. The science taught me 3 essential characteristics of couples who sustain a connection over the long term, and none of them were the characteristics you might guess. I'm happy to give away the ending right here at the start. The 3 characteristics of partnerships that sustain a strong sexual connection are: 1. They are friends. Or, to put it more precisely, they trust and admire each other. 2. They prioritize sex. That is, they decide that it matters for their relationship. And 3, instead of accepting other people's opinions about how they're supposed to do sex in their partnership, they prioritize what's genuinely true for them and what works in their unique relationship. And what do? These friends who prioritize sex and prioritize each other over any prefabricated notions of what sex is supposed to be. They co-create a context that makes it easier to access pleasure. That's it. Once I saw the pattern, it felt so liberating, so forgiving, so darn doable that I wanted to share it with everyone. So I wrote this book to explain this surprisingly simple truth about sex in long-term relationships, and to provide concrete, specific tools for maximizing the erotic potential in any happy, long-term sexual connection. This book represents my decades of experience as a sex educator, a decade of advancement in the research literature, and a decade of marriage, in which my own sexual connection with my partner ebbed and flowed. You might be in a monogamous partnership, or you might be in an open relationship, or you might be in a committed throuple, multuple. I think I made that word up, but it sounds right? Or polycule. Maybe you were in a long-term relationship in which the sexual connection didn't last, and you'd like to understand why that happened and how to prevent it in the future. Maybe you haven't yet been in a long-term relationship, but you would like to be someday, and you want to know how to build a sexual connection from day one that will last. If you're a human who lives in a body and wants to know more about having good sex, really good sex, spectacular sex, and universe-dissolving sex with another person over the long term, this book is for you. The promise of Come Together is this. You will learn what great sex over the long term looks like in real life, how to create it in your own life, and what to do when struggles arise, which they definitely will. How to use this book. My quarter of a century as a sex educator has taught me that people crave simple, step-by-step instructions to help them get from where they are to where they want to be, presented in a series of well-defined, predictable stages. Sometimes people start a book like this already impatient for answers about their specific situation. They want me to just explain what to do. Just